release during Watches and Wonders 2024. That is the upgraded ORIS date. I have both the Caliber 400 to show you and their Sellita based versions. So let's flip the camera and take a look at some of the upgrades and updates that have been made to an already very popular tool watch, a very popular dive watch, the Aquis date from ORIS. I'm really excited because I have both versions to show you guys. I have the Caliber 400 with the blue dial right here. That's in 43.5 millimeters. It's their flagship Aquis date. And there are only two differences between these two watches in the upgrades that they're getting. This is getting 2 extra upgrades. I'll talk about that in just a minute. This is the Sellita based version. This is in 41.5 millimeters. There's also a 36.5 millimeter version that is Sellita based. I don't have that to show you guys. However, all the changes will be very similar to this version. There are 2 differences that I did mention. We'll talk about those in just a second. So I'm going to start with the Caliber 400, and everything I'm about to mention applies to all of the Aquis dates. So they've all gotten reworked bezels. So the bezels are a little bit grippier. You can see the teeth are a little bit more pronounced. They've also been resized. So they're saying that they have reproportioned the bezels. From my eye, I think they're a little bit thinner. They're still ceramic and sound really good. I'll let you hear this one. Feel really tight and sound amazing. Everything, of course, lines up really well. So great bezels on these watches. They've always had very good bezels. They've also made changes to the crown guards. So the shape of the crown guards, I believe the crown as well, and they are very similar to what you got on the previous version. They're a little bit deeper in my opinion from what I know about the Aquis and the Aquis that I've held and handled before. It looks really good. They're very nicely contoured and very nicely finished. There is some differences on the dial as well. There's a new font that they've used for the dial, and I believe they've taken out the line that said pressure resistant. So there was a line here, a little extra line of text, so they have taken that out on the Caliber 400. So I don't think that's coming off of the other versions. So that is another change. So I guess a third change that's not happening on the other versions, but that is no longer on the dial of the Caliber 400, or at least not on this version. And then there is now a color match date wheel. Previous version had a black date wheel. Some of them didn't have a color match date wheel at all. Some of them are white. So now they're putting a color match date wheel on all Aquis. The indices have changed a little bit. They're slightly more faceted than previous versions. They are polished and shield shaped. They're still pretty much the same, except they are a little bit more refined. I believe they are also thinner. At least from my calipers. This is now around 12.9 millimeters thick, including the sapphire crystal. So the profile actually looks thinner from my eye. Again, from my calipers as well. So they're not actually saying that, but I believe this is now thinner, and I believe that the Sellita version is slightly thinner as well, I believe. This is from me measuring previous versions that I've actually had on the channel, so keep that in mind. Now, the clasp is probably one of the biggest changes on this watch, on the Caliber 400. You're getting a slightly larger clasp on this watch, on the Caliber 400 versus the Sellita version. It is a little bit larger, but you're gonna see, you have a normal scissor here, you get a dive extension, and you're gonna say to yourself, well, if it has a dive extension, it doesn't have micro adjust. Well, that's not true, because it actually does get both. This is one of the first watches that I have seen that has a diver extension and micro adjust built in that seamlessly fits underneath the clasp, which is excellent. I have not seen that in many watches. And all you need to do is press both buttons, and it is the scissor side of the clasp that actually adjusts. And it's very, very smooth, very easy to do. And it's about 3 or 4 millimeters. It could be even more than that. I'm not sure. I haven't measured it, but it is pretty decent. And then you have that diver's extension as well. So you get a lot of adjustability with this and a lot of versatility. So you could still use this as a true diving watch and also have on the fly micro adjust. There is a new quick release system. I will take a photo of that so you can see what I'm talking about. Really nice quick release system, very easy to use. You of course get to see the Caliber 400 from the back, sapphire crystal. You do get 5 days power reserve with this watch, which is pretty incredible. Now, the other big change on this watch, and one of the biggest changes for all of these watches, is a more tapering bracelet. What they have done is they've widened the center link and they've actually made it taper more. And you can see it's the outer links that taper. It tapers almost from 23 millimeters all the way down to 16 millimeters, actually under 16 millimeters on my calipers. And that goes for the Sellita based version as well on the 41 millimeter case. So it actually is around the same amount of taper, although it's a little bit smaller at the case. I love the taper on the bracelets. I love a tapering bracelet. I think these look really good. Like I mentioned before, this gets all the same upgrades. This is the Sellita based movement. So you're getting the upgraded indices. You're getting the font that is proprietary to the ORIS Aquis date. You also get the alpha hands. Those are, I think, a little bit more tapered than the previous versions as well. But again, that's from my eye. I'm not 100% sure on that. You do not get the quick release on the bracelet, and then you do not get the on-the-fly micro adjust. When you push this button, nothing happens, but you do get 3 positions of micro adjust right here, and you still get the pop-out diving extensions. So the Aquis date starts at around $2,500. That's for the Sellita based movement with the red rotor that we all know, that we all love, and I'll throw up a picture of that on a rubber strap. And then on the bracelet that you see here, definitely worth it for the $200, is $2,700. And then there's the upcycle version, which has that bespoke dial that's made out of melted ocean plastic. Those get all the same upgrades as this watch, and those are $2,800. The Caliber 400 is starting at $3,900 on the rubber strap, $4,100 on the metal bracelet. Again, for $200, this is a no-brainer. You need to go with this bracelet. The bracelet is phenomenal. The upcycle version is $4,200. So you can get the upcycle version in the Caliber 400 as well. And again, that's the same dial, that sort of bespoke dial that's one of a kind. You may not be able to tell, but I did want to mention as well that they did resculpt the lugs on both versions again. So both versions have new lugs. So basically everything has been changed on this watch. It's essentially an all new watch, but evolved is what I would say. So they've made very small, slight changes, resculpting, resizing, adding a little bit of a different finish, or changing something that makes it a little bit better than the previous version. Well, there you go. You can see the lume is very good on these watches. And of course you can see there's a little bit of lume on the second hand on that lollipop. I love to see that so that I could see that my watch is working in the dark. ORIS have also made a very big commitment to sustainability. So they've actually changed the boxes for these watches as well. They're going with a cardboard box. It's actually pretty nice, even though it sounds like it's, cardboard, but it's actually a very nice box. I will throw up a picture of that box so you can see what I'm talking about. Really nice, it's sustainable, and obviously it doesn't have any plastic or wood in it, so environmentally friendly. They're trying to do a lot for the environment, and this is just one step in that direction. So I think that's really great. This is not a huge change. It's basically an evolution of a very popular dive watch. I don't think that's a bad thing. If they made some wild changes, I think that probably make a lot of people mad. I think this sort of just a step in the next direction, not in the right direction, not in the wrong direction, in the next direction, in the next chapter of the Aquis. Very, very cool. And hopefully some of the upgrades that went into the Caliber 400 will one day make their way into the Sellita based movements. Who knows? Never know. That would be really great as well. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of these two watches? I really want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.